I'm Joel Bond, and today we're going to get real. So I've been following an Instagram influencer, an adventure traveler who I know. Her name is Eva Zubek, and I'll link her profile in the description below. I follow her on Instagram. She is undergoing a quarantine lifestyle very similar to my own. I've been stuck here on this isolated, remote Greek island in the Mediterranean for 2 months, and she has been quarantined, locked down on the island of Socotra off the coast of Yemen in the Indian Ocean, right between Yemen and the coast of Somalia. She's been there for 2 months, the same amount of time that I've been here, and she's been posting her own stories and her own adventures. But she posted today something that really resonates with me. She says that she's received loads of messages from people who've said, I'd trade anything to be locked down on a remote, isolated island. It looks so beautiful, looks so nice. And while those intentions are, they're well-meaning, it's not, I don't know, it's just not that easy. Living on a remote island during quarantine, lockdown like this, while it does have its upsides, I love to show off this beautiful background every day. It's a great place, it's beautiful. And I do have more ability to move about than a lot of people in the world right now. It's a luxury to be able to go on hikes in the mountains, to go swimming in the seaside here, to take walks around the island, to be able to talk to people, really, that I meet, and be able to learn Greek as I go. Those are some benefits, but it's just not as easy. It has its own set of stresses that are accompanying it. And she says in her post, I really agree with her, that it's not a win-win situation being locked out on an island like this. It's a give-take. There's certainly a lot of advantages, like I've just said, but I'm doing so at the expense of being near friends and family and people that I love, being part of a community that I know and a system that I can easily navigate. I'm doing so at great personal expense. It does cost me money to be here. And while I am incredibly lucky and privileged to be able to afford doing so for the time being, there's a lot of other psychological and mental stresses that come with it. And one of the reasons I made videos like this several times a week since the beginning of this quarantine was to help myself handle those mental stressors that come with being here. So in all of this, as much as it's nice to live on an island and it's beautiful to be here, it isn't free of stress. It has its own unique set of problems. Yes, they're different problems, but it's a unique set, and there are still problems. When I first came here, I joked, not knowing how long this would be, that I may have accidentally moved to Greece. Well, the time gets real where that actually may not be a joke. Now, before you go running off being like, oh my gosh, Joel's moved to Greece, it's one of several options. And it's an option that is on the table. I may have the chance to go back to home in Iraqi Kurdistan within the next 2 weeks, but there may not be a need for me to be there until the autumn term begins and my work resumes with school, which means I may actually end up living here for 6 months or more. That's a significant time to be away from home and community and familiarity. And yet at the same time, it's a significant time to develop roots and become familiar. So who knows where that will lead? But that's not the only option available. I do have other options. As Greece has lifted their restrictions, I now do have the opportunity to be able to fly back to the UK, where I'm a citizen, and perhaps take care of some business there, or reestablish some roots for the summer. I do have the option eventually to be able to travel back to the United States, where I could spend time with family, but with the rate of the pandemic spreading there, that may not be the best choice. And, as said, I may have the option to return back to Iraqi Kurdistan in the next 2 weeks or so, but that also depends on a number of other factors. All that to say, there are many options available to me, none of which are particularly great. Some are good, but none are great. So it has its own set of stress. In all of this, I've had a definition that keeps running through my mind in some way, shape, or form. It's a definition for the word freedom that I heard years ago from a source long forgotten. And the definition was something along the lines of, freedom is not the ability to do whatever the hell you please, but rather it's the choice to say no to the things you really desire, to the things that hold control over you, essentially. And I haven't yet found the right application or the right story for that definition, but hopefully it resonates with you in this time. And that somehow, when you're restricted from choice, that is a lack of freedom. And while I have certain luxuries and freedoms that have been afforded me here in this time, there are certain freedoms that have been denied. And no matter where I choose to go, that set of freedoms will shift and change, but still be restricted in some way, shape, or form. Freedom is the ability to say no to the things that hold control over you. In this time where we're locked down, it's so easy to say, I hate this, screw it. Like, let's just binge, fill in the blank, binge eat, binge watch, whatever binge-worthy activity you want to fill in there. But freedom was really the ability to say no to that kind of attitude, to change your mindset, to change your thinking in here. And I think for me, that's been one of the luxuries I've had, in that being in this place, in this time for 2 months, and potentially several more, has been the opportunity to change my thinking, to allow the space between my ears to be a space that houses freedom, even if the space outside of my body doesn't have the same amount of freedom that I wish it could. So no matter where you are in the world, I hope you're well, and I hope you're safe, and I hope that you are choosing some form of freedom, that you're able to exercise some degree of choice, and that can change your mindset for the better. Take care of yourself, and we'll see you next time.